This is our oldest remaining cemetery from 1789, and we'll actually stop at another cemetery, which is more designed for the bus. With 1789, well, the city is already, the people have been living here for 90 years. The city, which is just the French Quarter, is getting more and more crowded. But then, as you get beyond the city, was the beginning of swampy, marshy ground. Not too far away, before we had a system of drainage beginning 100 years ago. You try to bury somebody 6 feet under, by the time you dig 2 feet or 3 feet, you bury them in a puddle. So what we always said in-ground burial, but it was a shallow grave with a bunch of bricks on top. We started burying above ground, reuse the tombs. If you bury somebody 6 feet under, as hot as it may get in New Orleans, 6 feet under, it's about 50 degrees. It's like, that was your old-time refrigerator in the old days. You want to keep something cool, you dug a deep hole. But an above-ground tomb, like you see it, inside will get to be, in the summer, when it's 90, 9,500 degrees, inside will get to be 150 degrees. You talk about a slow, natural cremation. So a lot of these little family tombs that you see, like with the A-frame house or whatever, is large enough for 2 caskets, top and bottom, like a bunk bed. When the person dies, they bury him in the casket, they put him in the top. The casket that was on the top has to move to the bottom. The casket on the bottom, between top and bottom, had been in altogether for several years. To make room, the one on the bottom has to be taken out and open up. Oh, you don't want to be a cemetery worker in New Orleans. When I have a kids group, I tell them, stay in school. They put a sheet on the top, they flip it over. Whatever bones or remains are left go back inside the very bottom. Inside and below that second casket is an open pit for the bones, for the remains. There they're going to break down even faster as they're now exposed directly to the heat, the moisture, the organisms, and mainly the passage of time. As all the decades are passing, on the bottom it's literally becoming ashes to ashes, but a lot more quickly. So, like a family-owned tomb, there might be, if it's still in the family for, say, 150 years, the cemetery is 220 years old. Let's say, going back to the Civil War, somebody's still holding the deed to a family tomb. In a span of 150 years, there might be 30, 40, 50 people buried there. Only the latest 2 are in the caskets. On the bottom, it's becoming ashes to ashes, but a lot more quickly. So in this 1 square block, we estimate we bury between 20 and 25,000 people in 1 square block. But most of the tombs are not being used anymore. Most people don't know their family that far back. Now, Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen, is buried here. That's the most famous tomb, but the most important tomb is Homer Plessy, Plessy versus Ferguson. He's buried here. The guy who brought craps to America, Bernard Maroney's buried here. The newest tomb is Nicolas Cage's tomb. Nicolas Cage, the actor, he just built a tomb for himself here.
Is that right?
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. He's been in and out of New Orleans for 20, 30 years. And after he lost all his money, about 4 or 5 years ago, he lost all his money. He lost property all around the world, including 2 properties in New Orleans. But, being Nicolas Cage, you make another movie, make another $1 million, $2 million. So he spent, $100,000 on this incredible tomb. It's in the form of a pyramid, which, is symbolic of like immortality, pyramids. But it might remind you of that movie, National Treasure. And also, there's a tomb called a musician's tomb, where any musician does have his own place to be buried, can be buried there, and we hope to pay for and arrange the jazz funeral. So this is the old cemetery. So yeah, our cemeteries are pretty interesting. So I want to tell you about the old one while we're here. Now over here to the right is a visitor center, and they have a map. On any tour that I do, people want to know about Hurricane Katrina and the lower 9th Ward and all that. In order to see the map, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around. It says no entrance, enter from the other side. Well, I'm going to go around as you're getting off and open up the door. Also, there's restrooms. So if you need the restroom, you can use the restroom. There's a little movie that plays for about 6 or 7 minutes. So after I show the map, I'm going to give people about 10 minutes to